सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्. We have completed the 12th chapter and its a summary in the last class. That means we have completed the second Shatkam also. Today we will take up the 13th chapter, which is the beginning of the third Shatkam. So the entire Bhagavad Gita, we can understand this as three parts. Each part is called one Shatkam. In the first Shatkam, which consists of chapter 1 to 6, Paramatma taught Tvam Pada Visleshana. That means Jiva Swarupam. In the second Shatkam, in the second part, which consists of chapter 7 to 12, Tatpada Visleshana is taken up. In this portion, Ishvara Swarupam is vividly described, which we have completed recently. This Shatkam we have completed recently. In the third Shatkam, which we are going to take up, and which is from chapter number 13 up to 18, Asipada Visleshana is taken up. This is a very important chapter wherein you can see Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. The union of Jiva and Ishvara is thoroughly discussed in the last Shatkam. So, if you combine all the three Shatkas, Tat Tvam Asi Mahavakya Visleshana. Tat means Paramatma, Tvam means Jivatma, Asi means Aikyam, union. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is a moksha shastram because it is describing Mahavakya in a very in-depth manner. If you look at the very first Shatkam, that is from chapter 1 to 6, we have three main portions. The first portion is Jiva Swarupam, which is mentioned in Vedantic jargon as Tvam Pada Visleshana. And in this chapter, we have a very important sadhana called Yoga Sadhana, Karma Yoga Sadhana. The third important aspect which was discussed in the first Shatkam was Purusha Prayatnam or free will. Purusha Prayatnam is very important for anybody's progress. You are not totally under the control of God. You are not simply a role player in the drama of God. You have your own free will. You can exercise your own thinking. You can plan your own future. This is what we call free will or prayatnam, Purusha Prayatnam. So this is emphasized in the first Shatkam. There are some schools which propagate everything is driven by God. Everything is programmed. Everything is destined. That is not correct. According to the Vedantic dictum, every human being has got free will. So he can use his free will and modify or escalate to the higher levels of spirituality by his free will. This is what we call Purushartham or Prayatnam. So, Bhagavan says you have to use your free will and you have to uplift yourself. Udaret atmanatmanam atmanam avasadayet atmaiva hi atmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. So if you want to progress spirituality, you need to exercise free will. Bhagavan's help will be definitely there. Bhagavan's grace will be there. But then you have to start your own free will. You have to start your own prayatnam, your own effort you have to make. That is what the Shatkam clearly emphasizes. In the second Shatkam, again 3 main aspects are there. One is called Ishvara Swarupam, that is mentioned as Tatpada Visleshana in technical jargon. The second one is Ishvara Upasana, which is called Yoga Sadhana. Ishvara Upasana can be understood in 2 different ways. One is Ishtadevata Upasana. The second one is Viswarupa Upasana. Ishtadevata Upasana in this Bhagavad Gita is called Abhyasa Yogam. For Viswarupa Upasana, Bhagavan has specially allocated, for Viswarupa Upasana, Bhagavan allocated the entire 11th chapter. Aneka Vaktra Nayanam, Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, Aneka Divyabharanam, Divyaneko Dhyatayudam. Then the third aspect in Shatkam 2 is Ishvara Krupa, the grace of God. If first Shatkam describes free will or Purusha Prayatnam, in the second Shatkam, Bhagavan highlighted the grace of Ishvara. Both are important. Manava Prayatnam is important, at the same time Ishvara's grace, Ishvara's anugraham is also important. If both are hand in hand, then only one can progress spiritually. In fact, the grace of Ishvara is always there. He always showers grace on bhakta. But we have to know how to tap it. We just enjoy the waterfalls, but in the flow of that water, there is electricity hidden. We should know how to tap it. We should tap it in the form of hydroelectricity. It's a big project. So, we should know how to tap Ishvara's grace. There is one misconception about Advaitins. People comment that they believe only in intellect. They don't have any iota of bhakti, which is wrong. Advaitins are great bhaktas. They really insist Ishvara's grace is important. This way, the first 2 Shatkams discusses 6 different aspects. Now we will enter into the third Shatkam. In the third Shatkam also, there are 3 main aspects. The first aspect is Jiva Ishvara Aikyam, the union of Jiva and Ishvara. which is mentioned as Asipada Visleshana in technical jargon. In this particular Shatkam, we have Jnana Yoga Sadhana. Then the third aspect which will be discussed in this Shatkam will be values. So we'll see each topic by topic. Jiva Ishvara Aikyam, which is Asipada Visleshana. The very term Jiva Ishvara Aikyam clearly indicates that there are lots of differences between Jiva and Ishvara. There is Bhedam between Jiva and Ishvara. Jiva is Alpajna, Alpasektimanta, Alpavyapaka. Whereas Ishvara is Sarvajna, Sarvasektimanta and Sarvavyapaka. Jiva's knowledge is limited. He cannot pervade all. He is limited to his body only. And he is not omnipotent. Whereas God is omnipotent, omniscient and all-pervading. So this difference is vast. Just like the difference between a wave and an ocean. Wave is very tiny and will have short life, whereas an ocean is very vast and wide and it has a long life. So we cannot compare both on the surface value. But if you look at the very Swarupa, if you look at the very ingredient, a wave is made up of water. Without water, there is no wave. So much so, the ocean is also made up of water. Without water, there is no ocean. So if you look at the Swarupa of wave, the Swarupa of ocean, both are water. So in real terms, it is nothing but the water which manifested as the wave and also as the ocean. So in reality, both are water. But superficially, appearance-wise, they look different. For both of them, water is the substratum. Without water, there is no ocean. Without water, there is no wave. So both are same in terms of the Swarupam, in terms of the reality. The same analysis we can do in terms of Jiva and Ishvara. Though Jiva appears small, Ishvara appears small. Jivatma, Jiva plus Atma, Parama plus Atma, the common thing is Atma. In both Jiva and Ishvara, this Atma is common. Atma is the Adhisthana Chaitanyam. The consciousness is the common thing. So, Jnana Yoga Sadhana, Guru mentions Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam is Tattvamasi, which is Mahavakya. Shishya understands that he is nothing but Brahma in reality. in real terms. So this transformation in the mind, earlier Jiva understands that is the body mind sense complex. After the exposure of Shastra under the proper guidance and teaching of a Shrotriya Brahmanishta, he understood thoroughly, without any doubt, that he is Brahma in reality. So this is called Jnana Yogam. Jiva Ishvara Aikya, the Vakyam or the sentence which proposes Jiva Ishvara Aikyam is called Mahavakya. This is called a great equation, a great Samikaranam. If you look at a mathematical equation, 4 plus 3 is equal to 9 minus 2. On the left hand side, the numbers are 4 and 3. On the right hand side, the numbers are 9 and 2. There is no equality in these numbers. Once again, if you look at the left hand side, there is a plus symbol. On the right hand side, there is a minus symbol. So, superficially, on the surface value, it appears different. There is no comparison between the left hand side and right hand side. So, they appear different. But if you see the essence, if you see the result, 4 plus 3 is 7, 9 minus 2 is 7. So, essentially, left hand side is equal to right hand side. This is what we see in Mahavakyam. Jiva is equal to Ishvara. That's what Vedanta proposes. Superficially, they are two different things. There is no comparison at all. But on analysis, you understand Jiva in reality is consciousness. Ishvara in reality is consciousness. So, in real terms, Jiva is equal to Ishvara. This is what we call Jiva Ishvara Aikyam, the union of Jiva and Ishvara. Jivatma we can understand as 5 components. Jiva consists of 5 components. One is Sthula Sariram, Sushma Sariram, Karna Sariram, Pratibimba Chaitanyam, and Bimba Chaitanyam. The gross body, subtle body, causal body, reflected consciousness, and the original consciousness. This is what we have in Jiva. If you come back to Paramatma, if you look at Paramatma, again we can understand Paramatma as 5 different Paramatma constituted. Paramatma can be understood as 5 different constituents. Sthula Prapancham, Sushma Prapancham, Karna Prapancham, Pratibimba Chaitanyam, Bimba Chaitanyam. Gross world, subtle world, causal world, reflected consciousness, and original consciousness. Now let us see if there is any comparison. If we can equate these 5 constituents on either side. On Jiva, the Sthula Sariram or gross body cannot be compared with gross world or Sthula Prapancham, because Sthula Prapancham is very vast, it is Virat. Sthula Sariram is very tiny, so there is absolutely no comparison at all. Then come to Sushma Sariram of Jiva, which is called subtle body in English, cannot be compared with Sushma Prapancham or subtle Prapancham, subtle world of Paramatma. Because again, the subtle Prapancham or Hiranyagarbha, which is very big, cannot be compared with a tiny Sushma Sariram of a Jiva. The third item is causal body of Jiva is very small when compared to the causal world of Paramatma. Then the fourth item, the reflected consciousness in Jiva, which is called Pratibimba Chaitanyam, is very small when compared to the Pratibimba Chaitanyam of Ishvara. Whereas the Bimba Chaitanyam on Jiva is equal to Bimba Chaitanyam of Paramatma. In the first four, there is a difference like a wave on ocean. But if you look at the essence, the substratum of Jiva, the substratum of Paramatma, both are same. Both are Atma, both are consciousness. So in terms of consciousness, Jiva is equal to Ishvara. Then the third item in this Shatkam is values. If you want to understand the union of Jiva and Ishvara, you should have dharmic mind. You should have a resolved mind. So for this you should inculcate certain values. So you should have preparedness and refinement. For this you need to have certain values. So in this chapter 13, 14 and 15, Paramatma has given certain values. In 13 he has given certain values. Again in 16 and 17 he again elucidated certain values. So this entire chapter, in this entire Shatkam, Paramatma hinted many values so that one can imbibe the values and get the sadhana chatushtaya sampannata. So with 13th chapter, we can short. In 13th chapter, we have the Shatkam. In every chapter, it is started with Arjuna Uvacha. In this particular chapter, this first sloka is not there in some books. It might not be there, but it makes a sense if you add this sloka, because it follows the trend of the other chapters. So let us have this and understand this chapter as chapter of 35 slokas instead of 34 slokas, which is present in other books. Arjuna Vacha Prakritim Purusham Cheva Kshetram Kshetrajnameva Cha Etad Veditumichhami Jnanam Jneyam Cha Keshava. Hey Keshava, hey Krishna. Prakritim. Prakritim means Prakriti, that is the very nature. Purusham cha eva, Purusha, Kshetram, I want to know Kshetra. Kshetrajnam, I want to know about Kshetrajna. Jnanam, want to know about Jnanam. Jneyam, I want to know Jneyam. Etat veditum ichchami. So I want to know all these 6 items. So here he mentioned 6 different items. So he wanted Paramatma to explain these 6 items. He Kesava prakrutim purusham cha eva kshetram kshetrajnam cha eva jnanam jneyam cha etad veditum ichchami. Hey Krishna, I want to know about Prakruti, Purusha, Kshetram, Kshetrajna, Jnanam and Jneyam. So this very first sloka is the introduction. As I already told you, every sloka starts with a question of Arjuna. So much so this chapter is also starting with Arjuna's question. Arjuna posed 6 different technical terms, posed a question asking Krishna Paramatma to explain 6 different terms. They are called Paribhashika Sabdani. What are those 6 different terms? Prakruti, Purushaha, Kshetram, Kshetrajnaha, Jnanam, Jneyam. These 6 terms can be understood as 3 different pairs. Prakruti and Purusha is one pair, Kshetram and Kshetrajna is the second pair, Jnanam and Jneyam is the third pair. Etad veditum ichchami. I want to understand, I want to know clearly about these 6 terms. Kesava, O Krishna. Though Arjuna used 6 different terms, certain terms are same. For example, Prakruti, Kshetram, both are same. Both refer to the mundane world. Though there is a subtle difference. For the time being, let us understand they are same. This mundane world includes Sthula Sushma Prapanchas, the gross world and the subtle world. In Prakriti, we have the mind also is included, because the mind is also made up of 5 subtle elements. If there is a difference in the hormones, it will influence the mind. So, the 5 elements will influence, Panchabhutas will influence the mind. Mind is Panchabhautikam. And this influence is expressed in terms of Ragam and Dvesham in the mind. Now, Prakriti or Kshetram means the world, and it also includes the mind and the body. This is what Paramatma describes later. For the present, for the time being, let us understand Prakriti or Kshetram as material principle. Purushaha, Kshetrajnaha, Jneyam, all the 3 can be understood as one. Though there are subtle differences. Again, for the time being, we understand them as one. All the 3 terms represent consciousness or Chaitanya. That means Prakriti, Kshetram, they are nothing but Achetana Tattvam, Jadam or insentient thing, Kshetrajna. And Jneyam is nothing but consciousness, which is Chetanam. So, if you divide this, there are only two things which are discussed here, Jadam and Chetanam, insentient and sentient thing. What else is left? Jnanam. For Jnanam, there are many meanings. The only meaning is knowledge. Here, we take this differently. Here, Jnana means values. In this particular chapter, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yogam, Paramatma mentioned 20 values like Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Shanti, like that. Whatever is not Jnanam is called Ajnanam, according to Krishna Paramatma. Etad Jnanam iti proktam, Ajnanam yadatonyada. So for Arjuna's question, Paramatma gave a wonderful answer. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha idam shariram kaunteya kshetramitya vidhiyate etadyo vetitam prahuhu kshetrajna iti tadvidaha. Hey Kaunteya, hey Arjuna, idam shariram, this very body, kshetram iti, this is called kshetram, abhidiyate, etad yaha veti, whoever understands, tam kshetrajna, so that very person is called kshetrajna, tadvidaha prahuhu. That's how the Tattva Vedas, that's how the Vedantins describe. Hey Kaunteya, idam shariram kshetram iti abhidiyate. Yaha etat veti tam kshetrajnaha iti tatvidaha prahuhu. O Arjuna, this shariram is called kshetram. Whoever understands kshetrajna is called tattvajna. So, if you understand the very krama, prakriti, purusha, kshetram, kshetrajna, jnanam, jneyam, Krishna Paramatma answered in the same order, but we will took them as pairs, kshetram, kshetrajna. Kshetram and kshetrajna were described from sloka number 2 to 7. He Kaunteya, O Arjuna, idam shariram kshetramityabhidiyate. This very body is called kshetram. Why body is called kshetram? For that, Shankara Bhagavad Pada has given number of reasons. We'll just try to see two of them. Kshiyate iti kshetram. Kshatatvat, kshayamanatvat kshetram. Ksha means which is subject to decay and death. So, this is kshetram because it will fall. It is subject to death. Shiryamana swabhavatvat sariram. Every minute it is, subject to decay. According to medical science, all the cells, they die. Every cell die and a new cell, is generated. So during old age, the rate of cell decay is more than the cell generation. So the body ultimately falls. That's what we call the person died. At that stage, we call that person is no more. So, Deham. Deham means which is subject to three tapatrayas. Trivida tapaihi dahyate iti dehaha. Deha means which is bond with three tapas. Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adhidaivika. Adhyatma means, Adhyatmika means the pain within the body. Because of the karmas we have performed. Adibhautikam is the difficulties we face due to the kalushyam, the shabda kalushyam, due to the contamination, due to pollution, the sound pollution, the water pollution, and the atmospheric pollution. Adibhautikam is the difficulty we get from our surroundings, like contamination, pollution, and all that. Sound pollution, water pollution, and pollution in the atmosphere. Then Adidaivikam is the difficulty we face from the divine source, like natural calamities, thunders, lightning, floods, tsunamis, like that. So all these three tapas, they burn the body while we are alive and kicking. After the death, Agni will burn the body. So, Kshetratvat Kshetram. Another explanation given by Shankara Bhagavatpada is Kshetratvat Kshet. Kshetra means field, a farm. If you want to cultivate, what you have to do? You have to sow the seeds and pour water and nourish it with manure and all that. If you keep the seeds in an almara, you won't get the crop. So what you have to do? You have to sow it and pour water and nourish it with manure. Similarly, we have this papa and punya are the seeds. They need body to give karma phala. The body is like a farm, like a field, an agricultural land. So that's how it is termed as kshetram. In this particular chapter, Paramatma called the body as the kshetram. And he talks about the mind and the world at a later stage. But we can add those two also in kshetra. So we can understand kshetra means the body, mind, and the world. In fact, whatever you experience is called kshetra. Whatever you see, whatever you experience, whatever you encounter is called kshetra. So it gives you a long list. Kshetra means your house, your body, your mind, your articles, the entire world, for that matter, is kshetra. So we can understand that whatever is object, that is what we call kshetra. So whatever is changing is kshetra. Whatever is not changing, that is kshetrajna. So this entire world is changing. Even the entire world, everything is coming and going. But only thing which is not changing is called kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is consciousness. Etad yaha veti tam kshetrajna iti prahuhu. So kshetrajna means the consciousness. So tad vidaha prahuhu. This is how the Vedantins talk about kshetram and kshetrajna. So we have to understand kshetrajna means that which is experienced by kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is the consciousness. Kshetram is the very Vishwam itself, including body, mind, sense complex. So consciousness, whenever we talk about consciousness, we have to understand 5 different principles which we often describe, which is mentioned by our Swamiji. Consciousness is not part, property or product of the body. Consciousness is independent and it pervades the body and enlivens the body. Consciousness is not bounded by the body. Consciousness is not limited to the body. It is within the body and also outside the body. If the body falls, if the body dies, after the fall of the body also, the consciousness continues. Consciousness is there even if the body is not there, but it is not experienced because there is no medium to present it. There is no medium to express this consciousness. So just as the electricity makes a fan rotate, makes a bulb shine, makes a mic enhance the sound, in the same way the consciousness enlivens the body. So this consciousness is called kshetrajna. So in Vedanta Shastra, we have to first understand that every jiva, every person is a proper blend of Chaitanyam and the body. Like, fan alone cannot rotate, electricity alone cannot rotate. It is the mixture of fan and electricity which gives us air. In the same way, it is a mixture of Chaitanyam and Shariram which makes a person alive. So, like the visible fan and invisible electricity which gives us air, in the same way, the visible body and invisible consciousness makes a person alive and kicking. So, a jiva means a proper mixture of consciousness and the body, mind, sense complexness. Consciousness and body, mind, sense complex. So, the same thing was mentioned in 2nd chapter as Deham and Dehi. Deham means a kshetram, Dehi means a kshetrajna. Dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tada dehantara prapti didastatra namukhyati. Dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. तदा देहांतर प्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. So in the second chapter, the slokas 12 to 25 are very important. They are kshetram and kshetrajna. Here the same thing is mentioned as deham and dehi. In Vedanta paribhasha, in the Vedantic jargon, anatma and atma. Om Tatsat Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudatyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.